Hey, my lovely friends. Today we're learning more vocabulary with Sam Harris, who's talking about moral confusion, our confusion with regard to a sense of morality. Let's do this.
Uh, Presumably, this is a person who would have responded to the Me Too movement and all its moral urgency with alacrity.
Alacrity is the first word of the lesson, which means a sense of enthusiasm or cheerfulness or briskness. So, this person, Sam Harris says, would have responded to the Me Too movement with enthusiasm, with cheerfulness. Let's pronounce it together: alacrity.
He was still open-minded, at least in the context of talking to me, about the treatment of women and girls under the Taliban, right? And I detail our further conversation again verbatim in my book because I
So the next word of the day is verbatim, which means word by word. So he has written down that conversation word by word. He has detailed it in his book verbatim with stress on but
was
verbatim.
so astounded by the exchange that I turned on my heels literally in mid-sentence, walked straight back to my room and wrote down exactly what the two of us had said
He was astounded. He was greatly surprised. Astound means to greatly surprise or shock
because I
someone.
just could not believe um, what had happened. Uh, so, so the moral confusion here is that you have many well-educated people who uh, will make very fine-grained distinctions about moral norms.
These are individuals who would make fine grained distinctions, distinctions that are not obvious, differences that are very subtle.
In the context of living in 21st century America. They'll consider words to be violence, and the misgendering of people to be a profound microaggression. Halloween costumes that culturally appropriate.
Let's talk about the verb appropriate. Appropriate is to take something or an element of something like culture that does not belong to you, usually without permission. Appropriate, don't confuse it with the adjective appropriate, which is pronounced differently.
Et cetera, are anathema. This is
And these are anathema to this group of people. If something is anathema to you, you hate it, you dislike it very much. Let's pronounce it together: anathema. And normally it figures in the pattern something is anathema to someone.
this is how finely calibrated their moral scruples are over here.
This is how finely calibrated their moral scruples are. If you have moral scruples, you care about morality. A good adjective to learn here is unscrupulous, and this is someone who doesn't care about ethics. So Sam says that this group of people care about these little details, right? Their moral scruples are calibrated. They are very well adjusted.
In the quad of an American university, but you ask them to consider whether someone like Malala Yousafzai was badly treated by the Taliban, and they become tongue-tied.
So when you ask them about something more obviously wrong, they become tongue tied. They go silent, tongue tied.
Right? And they will even say things like, "Well, who are we to
Right, right.
criticize an ancient culture?"
So that
So anyway, so that motivated me to say, "All right, the smartest, most well-educated people in our society have become unmoored to any vision of objective moral values." Right?
Okay, let's talk about the verb moor. Literally, when a boat, a ship moors, it attaches itself. It kind of anchors to the docks, to the harbor, right? But the opposite is unmoor. So this means to detach. Sam Harris is suggesting that these people have become so detached from these obvious moral values.
They have